Guys, I've been doing this whole YouTube thing for a long time now, and I'm finally figuring it out. I mean, finally, I'm figuring it out. And I don't say that in a sense to mean like I have all the views that I want or my channels are all going in the right direction, but I'm finally figuring out that YouTube is all about the connection. Like, it's all about the connection. And whether that means I reach a few people or hundreds of people or thousands of people, it doesn't matter all that much because if I'm making real connections with people, that's all that matters. And I say that be- not to say that I don't want to grow. Of course, I want to grow. Of course, I want this channel to get huge. I'd love to see this channel bring in, hundreds of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. But the only way that that can even be possible is if I focus on the connections. The connections are all that matters. Hey, I'm just an average guy trying to make $100,000 online only using things like Amazon and YouTube, and I'm posting about it every day until I do. And I'm realizing finally that nobody cares about my story. I mean, maybe you say that you do, and I appreciate those who have been watching this journey and cheering me on and encouraging me throughout this whole process. But what matters even more than that, what matters more than the information that I convey about my story, is making connections with people. And it's been so obvious. It's so obvious that I can't believe I didn't realize this before. Like, the only way that people are going to be interested in my story is if I make a connection with their story. And the only way that I can make that connection with their story is if I think less about my story and think more about their story, your story. It's called YouTube, and I've been focusing on putting the me into YouTube, like the you into YouTube, and that's important. But equally important, maybe even more important, is thinking about the you that's on the other side of the camera. As I think about you specifically, I need to think, what kind of content can I make that's going to connect with you? Not just sharing me, but having this, personal, even friendship that we can foster through this medium. It is. I've been thinking about this because there's been all these videos that talking about how YouTube is on easy mode. I've been analyzing a lot of these kinds of videos, a lot of these creators who've been talking about how easy YouTube is, and how I've been thinking about that's not the case. It's not always the case that YouTube is easy. In fact, I've had a long journey myself, and YouTube has not always been easy. But I've been thinking, well, why is it easy for them? Why is it so easy for them? And yesterday in my videos, I was talking about how like some people just have a really connecting personality where they can just talk to the camera and it seems like they're talking with old friends. And I realized, well, that's the key. Like just talk to old friends. And you hear the YouTube experts talk about this, like when you're making a video, don't just talk to the camera. Picture that you're talking to a person that you know, like the who is the ideal viewer for your channel, and not just in an abstract kind of way, like this person's 35 years old and they have a family or whatever it is. Like, think of an actual person that you know and talk to them. Like, it seems so obvious, and maybe I heard that advice so many times and didn't put it into practice because I thought it just seemed kind of hokey. But if you want to make a connection with people, like with people who are that you're talking to on your channel, you have to actually talk to a person. You talk to people. I heard somebody say that they actually before hitting record, they called their best friend and had them on the phone and just set the phone aside so that when they were making a video, they were actually talking to that person. Maybe that would work. I'm not doing that right now, but I'm thinking about specific people who have left comments on my channel, and instead of just making a generic video, I'm talking directly to them, to you right now. Like, if you're watching this video, I'm talking to you. It's the advice that experts have been saying to me all along, and not to say that like this all of a sudden has blown up my channel. I mean, this honestly is one of the first videos where I'm actually putting this into practice, but in terms of like the process of making a video, I can see already, just even in the process of making this video, that it is so incredibly easy when you're just talking to a person. Like, when you're not just talking to a camera, but you're actually talking to a person. And I have several people in my, real life who I've talked with in terms of like YouTube, and talk with in terms of like growing a channel and how to go about all that stuff. And I honestly, I've talked with them the same way about some of the same things that I talk about on this channel. And I just realized, why can't I just be talking to them as I make a video? Oh gosh, My brain's just going 1,000 miles per second right now, thinking about all the implications of this. Um, like, you don't have to make any edits because when you talk to a person, you don't edit that. Like, and not to say that I'll never edit on this channel again, but it's totally okay to say it's totally okay to have silence. It's totally okay to correct yourself as you go. And once again, these are the kinds of things that the YouTube experts have been saying to us all along, right? That people want to see your personality. People want to hear you mess up a little bit, and because that's part of like being human, right? It's part of having a conversation with somebody, just to say this isn't my filtered self. This is who I am. This is unfiltered. And like I said, not to say that I'll never make edits. Of course, I'll go back and sometimes if I have a long pause, have to edit that out. That's just part of making a YouTube video, something that's interesting, not just, to watch while you talk with a friend, but actually get some information out of. And so I do have to edit somewhat, right? I will have to edit this video probably somewhat. But at the same time, it's like when you're talking with a friend, if I'm really just talking with a friend right now, I mean, I can ramble about YouTube for hours with a friend. Sometimes I've had to catch myself and allow the other person to talk and realize maybe they're not quite as interested as I am. But if I'm talking with a friend, I literally can just ramble for hours about these things. So if I'm making a video and if I'm just talking with a friend, then I can do the same thing. Not to say that, of course, we don't want to just ramble. We do want to have a point. Like my point in this whole video is talk to a person, make a personal connection. But it's that point that I can talk about rather than trying to 3-point script it, rather than trying to read a transcript as I go, or even try to self edit and edit what I say afterwards or anything like that. I can just literally just talk with you, talk with a friend. Uh, Once again, I'm thinking through all this. I'm realizing this. I'm realizing that YouTube really doesn't have to be as hard as sometimes we make it. And once again, not to say that that automatically will mean that you'll just blow up, but it does take a lot of the pressure off of yourself. And I think some of the pressure sometimes is the reason we don't blow up, because we make it out to be, we have to be perfect and we have to see the perfect results. But some of the fun of just having a YouTube channel is talking your thoughts, thinking out loud, and making connections with people. I think we've lost that over the years. I actually wrote a script not too long ago about we want to I want to make YouTube back to what it was like when it first started, because there was a magic about it. There was a um, there was a newness about it, but there's also just like a this is this is such a cool thing where you can like, and I know the internet's been around before this, but upload yourself like talking with people, and people were commenting, not because there was monetization, because that didn't exist yet, right? But just making these connections, and that's what made YouTube special. The being able to share your message and connect with people who have the similar thoughts or even different thoughts, and dialogue about it, and even just make people laugh, make people smile. Man, in a lot of ways, the whole monetization thing threw a wrench in the work, because people are so focused on business. I've lost this whole idea of what really made YouTube special in the beginning, was just making fun videos and connecting with people. So that's what I hope to do on this channel going forward. And I hope that that helps you. That I hope that through this we can get to know each other a little bit better. And I hope that you see that if I can do it, you can do it too, because I'm just an average guy.